One possibility that could really be used a lot in terms of world building and writing prompts would be to think of an unusual way for Darwin's theory of sexual selection to play a role in shaping your world. This happened with several of our stories at one of our recent meetings. One of them could be considered a metaphor for the Darwinian struggle because it featured a bunch of very good-looking people playing paintball. This would make a good question to ponder in terms of whether being good-looking in that circumstance was really an advantage, because someone could become a target and get more paintballs shot at him or her, either because of envy or because of someone being attracted to the person and wanting to get their attention. So it resulted in several comical instances of people being shot. There was another one in which a whole planet of creatures was endangered by the quest for beauty. And this had the additional interesting factor employed of making the creatures behave in a manner more or less like shapeshifters, so that two versions of the same species living in different ecological niches would not look the same. Then this makes a whole possibility of an entire geological record that could be falsified if all the creatures dying were just reflecting the forms that they took before death. And then what would appear to be multiple different species could actually be the same one. You could also have entire counterfeit planets where shapeshifters would hide out pretending to be less developed life forms. There was another story as well about more technologically advanced creatures cruising in the galaxy looking for what they could harvest from other planets, whether it was from actual mates or just things they found appealing. And this could be a way to have an alternate approach to extinction events. Maybe they're just events where somebody really advanced just comes to a planet and says, I'd like that species, but it depends on that other species to live, and that other one it needs for food, and that one it needs to keep its environment going. So we're really going to have to scoop up a whole batch of them. And while we're at it, we might as well just clean off that part of the planet and then see what evolves there next and come back in a while and see what it's produced. So then you would have whole batches of species periodically being harvested and taken off somewhere else. So that and we also had a bit of sexual selection going on in the meeting in terms of how we prepared for writing and whether people had enough time socializing, at least, if it was social selection, in order to get writing. We had different preferences for how long people would want to spend talking before they got started. So the group itself could be selected out of existence if you got rid of somebody. And indeed, this is something that goes on all the time, because people have interest in coming to a writer's group, not necessarily for the writing. I hear quite often from people who perk up at the idea of going there if they thought it was a way to meet people, because writing can be a very efficient, quick way of figuring out things, intimate things about someone. So you can scout out potential partners very quickly by what they write. But then it's a dilemma with a group then, whether you want people who are just there to cruise. So that and some of the distortions of trying to get to the group and balance it with work and not be tired when you arrive, and balance it with social requirements as well, were some of the topics of the meeting.